Okay, so I'm here doing an interview with Earl Dillard, the infamous Earl Dillard. It took us an hour to get through the technical difficulties, but we're going to get started. All right, I'm trying to figure out how I can show just you, Dad, but I don't know if that's possible. But we're just going to go with it, okay?
Come on.
All right, so the first few questions are more historical, so you got to get that memory going. So describe to us what it was like growing up in South Memphis back in the day.
Well, most of the restaurants were segregated, and I had to walk 1.5 miles to school, and the people directly across the street where I live were black. Good neighbors.
Yeah. A mile. So that saying when people say I had to walk 1.5 miles to school or 5 miles to school, like you really did.
Yeah, it was about 1.5 miles. Snow,
They
rain.
had buses back then?
No.
Okay.
I didn't have any money to ride a bus.
Well, they didn't offer school buses then?
Nah.
All right. So you had to walk 1.5 miles to that infamous Southside High School, right?
Right.
Okay, I got to put my glasses on so I can see the other questions. What did you like doing as a kid?
Oh, outside playing softball, corkball, baseball, football. Just so I was playing sports, I was happy.
Any kind of sports. So by the time you got to high school, were there other interests you had, or was it still sports related?
Well, when I got to high school, all I thought about was working when I got out of school to make money to do something at night.
So you could get out of South Memphis, huh?
I always had a paper route in the morning or afternoon or both.
So how early were you when you had your first paper route?
How old was I?
Yeah.
I was 14, supposed to be 16, and I'd been helping a guy for about 2 years. And the station managers asked me, said, "You want that route?" And I said, "I'm not 16. He said, "I didn't ask how old you were." I said, "Do you want the route?" And I said, "Yeah." So he gave me a piece of paper for my mom would have signed, give me permission to do it. And that's my first full-time job, I guess.
Oh my gosh, you started early. All right. So what do you were talking about your mom signing that. What do you remember most about your mom?
Well, like most people, it's the sweetest mom I ever had.
Aw.
Couldn't ask for a better one.
So what was her personality like, since we didn't get to meet her?
She very rarely lost her temper. And she had a lot to be sad about, but it never showed.
So she was easygoing?
Oh, yeah.
Was she quiet and reserved, or was she outgoing?
No, she reserved. She had, you got to remember, my dad left her when we were 5 kids, and I was the youngest.
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah. So she had a lot on her mind, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, but it never showed.
Oh, well, I wish I could have met her. So what was it like when you joined the Army? What do you remember most about that? What did you get out of that?
Well, I knew I was going to get drafted, and a friend of mine got me to join the National Guard, and we were going to go in and join together. But I never saw him after I got drafted. Never saw him anymore.
But did he get drafted too?
Yeah, well, we both joined through the National Guard. We thought we'd be together, but I didn't even ride the train with him in Fort Jackson. And that was my first time ride a train. And I was supposed to get off the train, got on another train. And the conductor came by after the train stopped and started up again. He said, "Where you going?" I said, "Fort Jackson." He said, "Not on this train." So he let me off at the next stop, wrote a letter and said, "Put me back on the next train." And they told me how to transfer. And I finally got Fort Jackson. I was late, and I figured they'd put me in the pen for a while, but they didn't. And I had 6 weeks at Fort Jackson. And I went to Fort Riley, Kansas for 6 weeks. Well, I went there for assignment. And while I was there, I asked the first sergeant, I told him I wanted to go to Europe. So he gave me the paperwork and I signed up for it. And, when I got my orders to go, but about a week before, I got attacked appendicitis. And I went to the infirmary and they told me I'd have to be operated on. I told the guy, I said, "Can't you just give me a shot? I'm going overseas." He said, "Well, we gave you some shots for about a week. And it don't take. You'll have your appendix taken out." So he gave me the shots and I still got my appendix. And I went overseas to Turkey.
I've never heard that story. I mean, I know it's Turkey, but I never heard about the appendicitis because I was about to say I don't remember hearing that you had appendicitis.
Yeah, I had an attack of it at Fort Riley, and they was going to take my appendix out. And if they took my appendix out, I couldn't go overseas.
Oh my gosh!
So I was between a rock and a hard place. And I told that guy, I said, "Can't you just give me a shot and then go overseas? I'll get them taken out over there." He said, "Well, I'll give you some for about a week. And if they don't take, we'll take them out." I said, "Okay." After a week, I got fine. And as of today, I still have my appendix.
That appendix has lasted through a lot then. So were you, then when you went overseas, were you in the Army or you weren't in the National Guard then?
No, when you join, you just join through the National Guard.
Oh.
You have serial, and it's my serial number was ER, which means enlisted through the reserves.
Oh, okay. Now, how long were you in the Army total?
2 years, almost 2 years.
How long were you in Turkey?
I was a year.
Okay. Wow, that's a long time to be over there, but you liked it there, didn't you?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the money I was making.
Yeah. And then when you got out, you were able to just get out when you wanted to?
No, when my 2 years were up.
Oh, so when you enlisted for 2 years, and then once that was up, you didn't re-enlist?
No.
Okay. You're like, I've seen Europe, I'm done.
Do what?
You were like, I've seen Europe, now I'm done. And you got to see Europe and Asia at the same time because Istanbul is on both continents.
Yeah. I took 2 trips to Istanbul.
Yeah.
10 days. They called it R&R. It wasn't really legal, but I was the company clerk. And what I did was, you're supposed to make out a morning report every day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I waited 10 days were up, and then we sent 2 people at a time. They came back, didn't get into any trouble. I just showed them present for that 10 days. They got in trouble, I had to show them as being on leave. Little deal I worked up with my company commander.
So you were dealing way back in the day then.
Oh, yeah.
How old were you when you first enlisted then?
I was probably 23. See, I got out in 57. I was 25. So I enlisted when I was 23.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, we're gonna move on. Because this video is for, all your kids and grandkids. Tell us about when you first met Mom.
Well, I was sitting in my usual restaurant drinking a beer, and she walked in, and I knew her, but never been out with her or anything. And she'd had a little bit to drink, so she sat down by me. She said, "There's my sweetie pie."
Well, she said that many times over the years.
Yeah, yeah. And
Ah.
but it was great. The old country girl came to the city.
Came to the big city and found her sweetie pie, honey pie.
Get out of me, but I didn't know it.
Yeah. So she was flirting with you then first, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Now, so we won't. We don't have to relive the railroad and the post office unless you want to tell. You started at the railroad first, right?
Yeah. Well, our story on the railroad was before I went into the Army, I was working at Humpco.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I was loading tank cars, so I was always outside. And when the railroad men came along, a friend of mine's dad was a foreman, and I always talked to him. And I told him, I said, "I'm going to the Army." He said, "Why don't you go down to the railroad?" And he gave me the train master's name. He said, "Go down there and tell him I sent you down there to go work the railroad." He said, I said, "Oh, I don't want to do that." He said, "Do that for 90 days. When you come back, you'll have a regular job because we're going from 6 days a week to 5. And I listened, took his advice, and went down to railroad and stayed there 90 days, a little longer. And I went through the reserves, Army Reserve, and joined up for 2 years. When I came back, my seniority stayed.
Oh, wow.
So I had a regular job when I came back.
Oh, well, that was pretty good. That was good advice then, huh?
It was, and I thanked him for it numerous.
Cool. Well, and then, so you had been there at the railroad for a few years then before you started the post office, right?
I was at the railroad. I got out in 57. I'd been at the railroad for 3 years when I came back. So I had 3 years seniority. So my seniority started in 54.
Okay.
And then I didn't go to work to post office at 62. So I only had one job for 5 years.
That's all. Now, I know there was a historical day there when you started at the post office. Wasn't it when I was born? Wasn't that your first day?
Yeah.
So that'd be August 21st, 1962 is when you started working at the post office.
Yeah, you're right.
What? I think I was born about 3 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you started those shifts then.
Yeah.
So you had a long career at both the railroad and the post office. How did you make that transition to real estate? Hey, adjust your camera a little bit. We're just not seeing your full face. There you go. I see that handsome face.
Well, I was working both jobs, and for some reason, I took the real estate exam in 82, and I passed it and went over as a real estate officer there in Bartlett, where I was working at the time. And I went over and asked John R. Thompson if I could hang my license there, and he said, "Oh, yeah," because because it was just money for him if I sold the house. And a friend of mine posted I was at a house out in the country, and I put my sign up and sold it. And I never in my wildest dreams thought I could sell real estate. And I don't even know why. Yes. I guess I was a test taker.
So you thought you passed it on paper, but you didn't really believe that you could be successful?
Oh no, I never thought I'd sell one house.
You're kidding.
Right. I was not a people person then.
Well, so what do you think made you successful?
Well, it seemed like easy money to me, and it took me about 2 years really to get a hold in real estate, know what I was doing. Right. But after I sailed right on through. Your mama and I got free trips everywhere. We went to Bermuda for being one of the 3 top salesmen with John R. Thompson, and went to Florida 3 or 4 times. I really enjoyed it, and I was making good money.
Well, and you were #1 salesman for John R. Thompson how many years in a row before you went out on your own?
I was always in the top 3, even though I was part-time.
I lost your video, Dad.
Somebody was calling in.
Oh, is that what happened? Oh, okay, you're back. I'm sorry. So you were top in the top what?
In his top 3 every year, but he was building houses, and he never gave me any of his houses to sell. He gave them to other agents. He had a favorite that he was in the service with, and he got most of the listings, but it didn't bother me. I did comment one time to him, "Why don't you give me one of your listings?" But
he might have kept you longer if he'd given you some listings.
Well, because of what happened.
Did you get another call?
Wait a minute, let me see where you are.
It just shows that your video went off.
Wait a minute. Have I got logged back in?
No, you shouldn't. Just check your stop video button. Because I think you have to do it on your end.
Well,
I can still hear you.
They left me a voicemail.
Oh, I bet every time something dings on your phone, it's going to throw you off. So, Dad, when you check that little screen at the bottom,
there's no screen at the bottom. Let me go back to my app and see if that'll bring me back up to you.
Okay, yeah, you might just have to click on the app again. There you are. All right, tilt it a little bit.
Just a minute. Okay.
All righty. All right, there you are.
Where was I?
Okay, so we were talking about John R. Thompson and him not giving you listings. So how long did you work for him then before you decided to start out?
I worked for John R. 9 years, and I had a private office and had my own key to that office, and nobody else had it. And I had a builder, and the builder wanted an office in Bartlett and asked me to open up an office. And builders are not a reliable source, I'll say.
Oh.
He bugged me for about 2 weeks, and finally I said, all right, I'll check into it. So I went to my friend, Max Swain, and he rented me an office. And then I figured out what my utilities would be. And all the expenses have run that office for a year. And I went to the builder and I said, write me a check for this amount of money. That's what our expense is going to be for a year. I said, Coach, you're not reliable at all. No builders are reliable. So he wrote me the check, and he moved his office in there, and I had my office. And
Who was the builder?
Steve Miles.
Oh, okay.
He had a Corvette, and he got killed. He run that Corvette underneath an 18-wheeler because he's always running fast, always in a hurry.
When
But
did
anyway,
that happen? Like right after you were doing business with him?
it was within, he stayed about 6 months, and before the year was up is when he got killed.
Oh my
But
God.
it didn't bother me that he left. He had a girlfriend that would come in there and answer his phone, and she would wear short shorts up to her butt. And I told him, I said, you're either going to get that girl some clothes or I don't want her in here. But she disappeared.
Running off your business.
Well, I had a business there, and people come see me about listing the house, and back there in shorts up to her butt. Just told him, we can't run a business like this. His wife called me and said, Earl, what's going on up there at your place? And I said, what are you talking about? She said, I'm talking about Steve. I said, if you want to find out about Steve, you come up after hours.
Oh.
So she did. She did. Called him, and they got a divorce.
And then he got killed.
Yeah, and there's a story behind that. Well, they didn't get a divorce. They were separated. And he went and built a house in Mississippi for his girlfriend, but it was in his name. When he died, she got the police to come at her house, and she knocked on the door, and she said, this is my house, get out of here. And she said, no, it's not your house. And she showed the piece of paper where her house was in Steve's name, and the police made her get out of the house.
Oh my gosh.
That was ironic.
Yeah. That might have been a little bit of karma, huh?
Yeah. I could write a book, I guess, on my experiences.
You could, and that's why I wanted to do this little interview, because you got lots of stories and stuff, and we don't always have them, and now we're going to have some things on video. So, Dad, you've...
Office in 91. After about 6 months, John R. kept my office. When I left John R., he said, Earl, you won't make it out there. I said, John, when you worked for Jim Reed, I said, when you left him, what did he tell you? He laughed. He said, he told me I wouldn't make it. I said, well, if I don't make it, I can come back. And he said, oh, yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
My office. After 6 months, I went up to him. I said, John, let somebody have that office because I ain't coming back.
Oh, I didn't know he kept it for 6 months. So he was ready for you to come back. One of his top salesmen.
You know, it wasn't any hard for him. We were still good friends.
Yeah.
And
well, he lost a lot of sales there when he lost you.
Yeah, he did. I made a lot.
Yeah. So what all do you think contributed to your success in real estate?
Oh, that's easy. Treating people like I want to be treated. Fair.
Yeah.
And give them service. That's what's on my real estate signs. Service is told.
Well, and you still have, I think when I was there last year, you had somebody you were listing a house for that had been a customer of yours 3 or 4 decades ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
or I guess 3 decades ago.
Well, I have sold people kids' houses that I dealt with 30 years ago.
Wow.
These people, I sold them a house in Bartlett 12 years ago, and they wanted out of the house, and I made them a deal. I told them I'd pay their house notes if I sold their house. And I give them $21,000, and they went on about their business, and I sold their house. Got all my money back, plus about $15,000.
Wow.
That's what I like about real estate. That's what I tell people. What I like about real estate, I can get up in the morning and I have the ability to make $15,000, $20,000.
Right. Not many professions you can do that in, right?
No, there's really no limit to the
Maybe
money.
I should have got my real estate license.
Well, Mrs. keeps saying she's gonna get hers, but
Well, I mean, and I'm out here in Phoenix. Good grief. I mean, real estate still goes like crazy out here.
it always has been.
I know. I mean, you could come out and mentor me for a little bit. I told you when you were here before, you could have Dillard Realty West.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing what I want to do, next to nothing.
Well, that's good. But I mean, here you are, 86, and you're still list houses. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. I'm gonna have 3. I've had 1 closing this month. I got 2 more closings coming up, and I got a commercial building listed in North Memphis. That's the only thing I've got, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Soon my doctor gets me straightened out on my medicine, I'm gonna start looking for somewhere to go.
Oh, good. Where you think you might go this time?
I don't know. I'll let Dewey hunt me up something.
Do something fun. All right. So let's see. So you talked about, providing good service for people. So if you were going to give all your kids and if you're hearing click clicks, my dogs are coming to visit me. If you were going to give all of us advice on, being successful in our career or whatever we're choosing to do, what would be, a couple things that you would tell us?
Well, as I've told y'all, when y'all started working for a living, find you something you like, because you're going to be doing it the rest of your life. If you don't like it, that's what I did. I worked at the steam plant for about 3 months before I went to before I went to the post office. And I was going down there one day to get my check, and they had a coal dust explosion. Side of the building was metal, just blew out. So I went and got my money, and I was carpooling with the guy that was my boss. And the next day when I was going to work with him, I said, "Who did I go see to give my 2 weeks notice?" He said, "You just started." I said, "Yeah, and I'm just quitting." He said, "Why?" I said, "Well, I don't like my job, and that coal dust explosion I had yesterday made up my mind for me."
Your life could have taken a whole different path if you'd liked that, right?
Well, yeah. And the next 2 weeks, I went and took a post office exam, and I got credits for being in the military. And I think we had about 300 people took that test, and they hired 7 of us.
Wow.
I was in the top 7. And so I went to work post office.
Wow. I know you're the mathematician, but if they hired 7, is that only like 2%?
Say it again.
So of the 300, if they only hired 7 people,
yeah,
they only hired a little over 2%.
Oh,
right?
Them out of 300 to be 0.21%.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, it was.
You can tell I don't have your math brain.
Dewey does.
I know, and Jackie did for sure. Math is not my thing. Emma's
Yeah,
got great math brain, but and I told her that she probably gets that from you because she don't get it from me.
yeah. We was reminiscing Saturday. Krista was asking questions to the dads, and
Uh-huh.
my my most memorable experiences when y'all was growing up was taking y'all places. You know, I never went to when I was a kid.
Yep.
So I was just as happy as y'all were, especially when we went to Disney World,
Ah.
ride that monorail. You probably don't remember it.
Oh, I remember everything about that trip.
And
I
do it with,
remember we were staying at like a Best Western or something. And
no,
we
no,
well
no,
wait before we went to the Contemporary, and then
no. We went in there and they didn't have a room, so they come back next day. So yeah, we stayed at Best Western, and I got up 5 o'clock in the morning, went up
yep.
there to get my name on the list. And she said, "Y'all go on to the uh, go on to Disney World. When you come back, I'll tell you what your room number is." So
Yep.
that's what we did.
And
That
I
was
remember so staying in that. I mean, so I think I was only. Do you remember what year that was, Dad? Because I think I was only 11.
no, you wasn't that old.
Was I 10 maybe?
I'm thinking like
I think
nine,
it opened in 72, didn't it?
like 9, 11, and 13.
Okay.
I remember Dewey was the big shot. Y'all had a car, and y'all went down to the kids area, and I thought I'd paid all my bills when I left. When I got home, had another food bill.
I know it was like, but it was so futuristic then because
It was
we had like that little, it was like a little punch. It wasn't even a punch card. It looked like
like
a key
like credit card.
that you have now to hotels, but that was so far advanced.
What was amazing to me was the monorail running through the hotel.
Well, I remember one night after we had been to the park, Dewey and I weren't tired, and we would get on the we just rode the monorail around, and we got off at the Polynesian and looked around and just rode the monorail because that was like a ride.
Yeah,
But I remember, and the thing that you and Mom were so like in awe of was they delivered the newspaper and a big pot of coffee every morning to the
yeah,
room, and then we had a balcony.
yeah.
And
We didn't have it for one day because of your mama.
really, we only stayed there one night. I thought we stayed there more than one night.
No, we was up on 10th, 11th floor, had a great view, like you
Oh, and
said.
then we had to move.
She got claustrophobia being up high, and she'd want to move. I said, "I ain't moving. You want to move, you take care of it." When we came back, we were down on that bottom floor.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because she was so afraid of heights.
She
But
had a, she had a habit of running our trips.
she did make her mark on things, that's for sure. So,
Oh,
but Dad, I remember that one of the funnest things. You remember those little speedboats they had that just were for two people, and
yeah.
Dewey and Jackie rode together, and then you and I rode together.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you go? I'm looking at your cabinet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to put my charger on. I forgot to
Oh,
put
okay. So, that's good. Yeah, just don't do the window in the back. But yeah, so we rode those little speedboats around that little bay. It was so fun.
Is that better?
Yep, that's perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember that? And then inside, it was kind of like a food court. I mean, of different restaurants. We went to the Italian restaurant one night.
Oh, yeah. And I remember the roller coaster ride was Fire in the Hole.
Oh no, that was Silver Dollar City. You're thinking that I can't even remember the name of it, but it was in the dark.
Oh, yeah. You went through a tunnel and looked like you was headed right to the fire.
Oh,
And the train made that left turn.
We rode some good roller coasters. Now, Mom never rode any of them, but you rode every one of them with us.
Oh yeah, well it was fun for me.
Well, you know, I
Flags over Georgia.
yeah, we went to a lot of Six Flags. We went to Six Flags over Mid America too, and
Yeah,
St. Louis.
yeah,
Yeah, and then Silver Dollar City, of course.
yeah. And I took Dewey to the Centennial in Philadelphia and went to the basketball finals.
I remember that.
Yeah,
That's pretty amazing, right there.
Dewey takes after me. He wants to do something, he'll do it.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I think when, and maybe it was the Arch, one of those trips, and there's a picture of you and Dewey standing in front of, I don't know if it was that game or the St. Louis Arch. And I remember he had his glasses. It was when he first got his glasses.
Yeah.
Remember? Little
Yeah,
horn rims.
the low elevators is cramped.
Oh, yeah. And the St. Louis Arch.
Yeah, I wouldn't go up in one now.
You know, I think when Andrew and I went through there, or either I went to a conference there, and a friend of mine was going to go, and she was like, "You want to go?" I'm like, "No, I've experienced that once, and that's all I need to experience it."
Yeah, that is something to think about. All that at the top of that arc.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, Dad, so talking about Dewey, what was it like when you became a parent for the first time and had little Dewey Earl?
Oh, well, I didn't have to worry about, your mama, the doctor told her that uh, her ovaries were upside down. He said, "You'll never have kids." And then we had Dewey, which was, everybody knows that was mama's boy.
I know.
uh, oh, it was great. I was excited all three times.
Oh, well, so when you think of Dewey, how would you describe him as a little boy?
Well, spoiled rotten.
He was.
He never, truthfully, none of y'all ever give me any trouble. I guess because you didn't see me much and you was afraid of me when I did show up.
No, I wasn't afraid of you, but I think you guys just taught us that we were supposed to mind, and I don't
That's
even
right.
remember you giving us lots of rules except, Mom,
Yeah.
when she was having her problems,
Yeah.
she was easily aggravated, but
thank goodness we live next door to the Dickies.
I know you've said that ever now. See, I definitely don't have any recollection of them, but
Well, you were at least 10.
now, well, where did they live on Hillmont?
No, they lived on
Truman.
Gray.
Gray.
Wait, no, Truman Road, 4133 Truman.
See,
And
Dad, when we moved to Hillmont, I was 3. So, see, I just don't remember them.
Well, then if you were 3, it's 3, 5, and 7. I know I had to get the Dickies to babysit y'all at night while I worked the railroad.
Yeah.
I remember telling her one time, I think her name was Peggy Dickey.
Yeah, I remember that name.
I told her one time, I said, "I believe you're making more money than I am."
Well,
Your
so
mama, she had a tough time, and I didn't know anything about doctors, and
yeah.
She went to 3 or 4 different psychiatrists. She'd be in that Gaylor clinic, and she'd see a doctor she liked, and she would change psychiatrists.
Well, y'all certainly tried to get her the right help. She just didn't get appropriately diagnosed, so it wasn't from lack of trying.
Well, all I could do is what the doctors recommended.
Yeah, absolutely.
but I knew she needed help.
Yeah.
But, you know, we overcame all that. And
Yeah.
I was trying to think when we, I know you were about 16 when we moved in that log cabin.
Well, actually, Dad, I think I was a little older because I was out of high school. We lived on Vinson when I graduated from high school, and then we moved to the log cabin because I remember making that trek all the way to Memphis State and to UT when we were in the log cabin.
And I blame you for moving out, causing me to lose my log cabin.
Me? Oh, because Mom was afraid to stay by herself. So you've been blaming me all these years and I didn't know it.
You know that log cabin still standing?
I know. I'd love to see the inside of it. I have a lot of memories of that place, even though I really
it was great.
Drive.
We had that big fireplace. And
Mm-hmm.
it was just great.
And you built that. That was your goal, and you wanted a log cabin, and you did it.
Well, I built a log cabin because I was going to have the franchise for Fayette County for the cabin business. But the guy had the log cabin business went out of business.
Wow.
So, but anyway, it was a great experience.
It was.
Mine is a bit.
Well, so what message would you want to give Dewey as your eldest child? What would you want to say to him?
Well, he's going to be the executor to my estate, and if I have any money, he's going to be the one distributing it. So I just told him, be fair.
Yeah.
Got 6 grandchildren, you and him. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be divided by 8.
Yeah.
And I may not have any money when I die. I don't know.
Your goal should be to spend it all and have fun.
No, I don't want to spend it all. I want to have fun. Do what I want to do, which I can do right now. You know, what I worry about is having to go into a nursing home and all my money be spent.
You're not going to no nursing home. You can forget that.
Well, that's I guess I worry about that needlessly. But that's what Missy said.
Oh, no.
You ain't going to no nursing home.
Yeah, you can just get that worry right out of your head because that ain't gonna.
All right, you can bring me. You can take me to Arizona.
Well, I will. You know, I've done it before. I'll do it again. I'm not opposed to kidnapping.
Yeah, I know.
You were an accomplice too, you know.
That's what advice I would give to it. Just be fair.
Yeah.
And we will.
Now, moving on to your beloved Jackie Lynn.
Oh.
What are your memories of her as a kid?
Always had a smile on her face.
Sure did.
Yeah. I look at Missy and I can see her. I guess she enjoyed life as best she could, but
she did, especially when she was young. She didn't have a care in the world.
No. I think about her and Janie.
Oh my God.
What a duo.
Oh my gosh, they embarrassed me so many times in my life.
Oh. But that's, you know, one of my fondest memories of Jackie is when I bought Dewey a morning paper out here in Ellen. And Jackie and I carried it till I could get rid of it.
I know. Yeah, Dewey wasn't so impressed with that paper route, but Jackie enjoyed it.
Yeah, she'd go with me. And I remember one time we was in a car and we was going down a road. It was a dead end, and my brakes went out.
Oh no.
So we went out to the field, and I backed up and turned around and just used my handbrake the rest of the time around the route. Of course, you didn't have to stop too much. Jackie folding papers and we slang them out the window.
I could just see her doing that, and she sat in the back seat, didn't she?
Yeah, it did not bother her at all. And I remember one time we went to Florida, and she got sunburned. I did too, and
Oh,
we woke up about 3 in the morning, and we went out on the beach and walked the beach, and it was just nobody out there, and
yeah.
peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in Jackie's diary she had in there that her goal was to take me and Faye on a cruise.
Ah,
So
wow.
that's nothing but good memories. Really nothing but good memories with any of you.
Wow, she was so there wasn't a selfish bone in her body.
No. Uh-uh. No.
Mm.
I sure wasn't. She'd do anything for anybody.
Yeah, she would. But boy, she I remember her just being giggly about everything. She found everything funny.
Yeah.
She was a mess. Janie posted recently something about, maybe it was on I don't know, something to do with Elvis. I don't think it was on the anniversary. And she said, "Oh, I can't tell you how many times me and my bestie would go hang out at the gate hoping to see him." And I commented and I said, "Would that bestie be Jackie Lynn?" She was like, "You know it."
Well, no, they went up that back road to the back of Elvis's house.
Yeah, they tried to befriend the security guards.
I'm sure they were.
You think about that now, that's probably not safe. I mean, in this day and age for, teenagers to be, hanging out and trying to cozy up to security guards to get a glimpse of Elvis, because there's a few more unsavory people probably.
Oh yeah, that was really before he really got famous.
Yeah. Well, anything that you would want Melissa and Nick to know, or a memory that you have that maybe they don't know about of Jackie?
That she would have, well, I don't know, just nothing but good thoughts.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything. Just they grew up to be. When they grew up, her mama would have been proud of them.
Oh yeah.
If
For sure.
she'd been around for Henry and Charlie, they couldn't have run around the house.
Oh my gosh. No, Melissa would have just had to move her on in.
Yeah.
Should have been a little bit like Mom about her grandkids.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so for my girls, describe me as a child.
You were a lot like your mama, bossy.
Bossy? That's what you're going to come up with?
Are they listening?
What?
Are they listening?
No, but they're going to see the recording.
The memories I had of you when we lived on Hillmont, you made them, what's them two girls named down in
the Plunks.
Plunks, yeah. Made them lay down in 100-degree heat on the sidewalk.
Well, I was the teacher.
Mama, you made it down. You want to tell a joke about you hollering out the window to Jackie?
Oh, go ahead. I hadn't heard that in a long time.
Yeah, you messed your pants and you hollered out the window. Hey, Jackie, I shit in my pants.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. Now, I don't remember doing that, but I was, about 3? It was on Hillmont, right?
Yeah, he was probably 2.
Well, I had heard that word from someone, huh?
We stayed there 5 years, I think.
Yeah, I was in 4th grade when we left there. So, because I went to Macon School through 4th grade.
Your mama would go up there and she'd join the PTA, and we had some great times there. And I remember we used to go over to West Memphis to play bingo with Ray and Shirley Eastman. And they told her when he was always wanting a little old motorbike. He said, if I hit the jackpot over there, I'll buy you a motorbike. She hit the jackpot and bought him a motorbike.
Yep, he got a mini bike.
Yeah.
Hang on. Emma, turn that down. I don't know if you can hear that. She's got the TV on. All right, so let's see here. So we talked a little bit about this, but what times in life would you say, really kind of tested your resilience?
Living with your mama.
Every day.
And just, I'd go to work at the railroad. She'd be having one of those fits where she couldn't swallow.
Yeah.
She begged me not to go to work, and I said, we have bills to pay, and I can't help you swallow. I said, just get over your nerves, and I'm going to work. And I'd be at work about an hour, and the train master called me and said, Earl, your wife called and she's sick. I said, I'm going to stay here till I get a relief. And because I knew I couldn't do nothing when I got there.
Right.
So she called me to miss a night's work. And I'd go home. 20 minutes after I was there, she's fine. So I guess I should have just took her to work with me.
That would have been interesting.
She tested my patience.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah, I know.
Making open up charge accounts when we didn't have money for it. Making sure y'all had everything you wanted. I cussed her so many times, I'm ashamed of it. Didn't do any good.
It didn't. It didn't knock the crazy out of her.
I had to keep my checkbook down at the real estate office because she'd go in the back and tear out a check like I wouldn't know it. My checks are 100 or 200. But you see one that's 500. I mean, come on.
Well, she used to tear them out of the back of your business checkbook.
About the checks are numbered, and I'd be in the 200s. I'd see one that said 400, and I'm thinking, I look at it, and it was a check she stole and cashed when she knew there was money in the bank. Oh.
Well, she's like that greeting card Maxine saying, what do you mean I don't have any money? I still have checks.
Yeah.
But Dad, I mean, spending money, huh?
Overall, I have no regrets for my life.
That's amazing right there. But just to finish that talk about Mom, she, part of her manic behavior was spending money. I mean, that's part of when you're in that manic phase. So, a lot of that was her mental illness.
Well, that was her release from grief, I guess.
Well, I think when she was depressed, buying things kind of cheered her up momentarily, but also when she would go into that manic phase, having bipolar, doing irrational things like that is part of it. So, I think it was all kind of tied in with her illness and not a lot of what she had control over, really.
And I'd give her a check to go to the grocery store, and the bill would be $60, and she'd write it for 100.
I know, she'd keep that cash. I saw all the tricks, believe me. She'd say, "We'll get that new dress. Just your dad will never notice it. Just put it in the back of the closet. Just don't wear it right away."
Yeah, when we had a garage sale there, well, she had 16 or 17 pair of blue jeans she never even worn.
Yeah, that's excessive.
I don't know how much money y'all made at the garage sale, but y'all made a lot.
I don't know, but we had a lot of those garage sales, that's for sure.
I know.
Now, Dad, what time do you have to leave to go to the doctor? I don't want to make you late, but I only have a few more questions.
It's going to pick me up.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep talking. All right. I'm almost done. What do you think are the 3 events that most shaped your life?
The 3 what events?
Yeah.
Well, I would say, the main one would be going into real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I found my niche. I've made a lot of money, and I still like to do it. I'll probably do it till I let Dewey chauffeur me around.
Yeah, he can push you in a wheelchair to your closings, huh?
No, he just go for me.
That's good. Any other events that you think kind of set the trajectory of your life?
Well, it was a relief when I retired from the post office and railroad.
Yeah. I bet. Do you think go ahead.
Right off the top of my head, I can't think of another one.
I think I've wondered if, your father leaving your mom with kids, if that sort of set the stage for your work ethic and your responsibility and kind of trying to make sure that you provided so well for your family.
Oh, my work ethic, I can blame on him because I didn't have any money. I knew if I wanted, which I like to go to pitch shows and buy hamburgers, and if I didn't have any money, I couldn't do that. So I learned at an early age I was going to have to work for what I had, and I want to give my mama things she didn't have.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't have much chance to do that.
No.
She died when I was 27.
That's young.
But as far as I made a promise to myself early in life that if I ever got married, I would not leave my kids.
Well, you didn't, and you had plenty of reason with your unstable, unstable wife.
Well, some people went through worse things than that.
Yeah. Well, I think things can always be worse, and I've learned that from you, that no matter what you go through, can always be worse.
Oh yeah, and all the fussing I did with your mom, I was always thankful that we had 3 kids.
Yeah.
So that offset her sickness.
Yeah.
If I had known, I think she died within 2 years after we got our divorce. I don't remember if it was 2 years or not. But I think we got our divorce in 97.
Yeah, so it was 3 years.
Three, yeah. I knew it was after Jackie died. But her making me a proud parent, offsetting all of her faults. And even though I would short, but a lot of that was, I was always lacking sleep, and
Oh, yeah.
I know I was irritable, but I would have stayed with her if I'd known she was going to die.
Yeah.
But
Well, but you don't know, do you?
I never say anything about it, but Dewey told me one time, he said, I told him, I said, I'm going to divorce your mother. And he said, I don't know how you kept your sanity.
Oh, yeah.
And the burden fell on him, and I didn't know it, and he held that against me. And, I didn't know Faye was calling him at 3 o'clock in the morning, trying to pills from a drugstore, and wrecking her car. And I remember one time, Max Swainer in that shopping center there by Mama's Barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a mobile place there at the end. I think that's where she owned. And she run into the building. And Mac told me about it. He said, Faye ran into my building? I said, no. He said, well, she didn't do much damage to it.
Well, Dad, I think about if Mom had been diagnosed appropriately much earlier, in her life, instead of the last 3 months of her life, it could have been different for all of us. But, you can't.
They get to go to Bermuda.
And I'm sure she made her mark on Bermuda when she was there.
Bermuda, they go around on motor scooters. That's their mode of transportation.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Faye, I said, I'm going to rent a motor scooter when we go to town. She said, I'm not getting on that motor scooter. I said, well, I guess I'll just go to town by myself. But I really didn't rode the bus with her.
Of course you did. Well, she added a lot of fun and a lot of drama and a lot of ups and downs with her mental illness, but she couldn't help it, and we all survived.
I have pleasant memories of McMinnville.
Oh, yeah. Well, and what you said that Dewey told you when you told him you were going to divorce Mom. That's what Carl told me. Like, I don't know how he's done it all these years. So,
And when I talked to Carl after the divorce, he said, I got no hard feelings with you. And I said, I called him about once a week, talked to him, and I told him, I said, you're like a brother to me.
Yep.
And we in our conversation with, love you, brother.
Yep.
So,
we had lots of fun up there, especially with Carl. He's a mess.
Oh, yeah, he was. I remember going hunting with him, rabbits, when snow was about 6 inches deep. We was all drinking, and Jack started down the hill. He said, uh-oh. I said, what's the matter? He said, I should never have gone down this hill because we ain't going to get back up. So we got about halfway up on the other side, and they had to get out and go up to a farmhouse, and I came down there on the tractor. The chain pulled us out.
Oh, my gosh. I never knew you went hunting with them. I'd have been scared to go hunting with them as much as they used to drink.
Went rabbit hunting, but I just went to drink, have a beer with them. Just
Hey, I can't see you as a hunter.
No, I'm not.
All right. I'm going to see here. I think we've talked about a lot of this. So, what have you learned most in life?
Be thankful for the day you have.
That's a good one.
And I have a lot of people that I know, some of them are good friends, and they all know me to be honest. And I try not to cheat anybody. I don't know of anybody I have cheated.
Well, if you have, I'm sure it's been unintentional.
But you talking about real estate a while ago. I know it sounds corny, but I get my biggest thrill out of helping people, mostly Black, that never thought they could buy a house because of my creativity. And I'm not bragging, but there's ways around everything. And I always, and when I get those kind of people in my house, they never forget me.
Oh, I bet. Because, for people that feel like that's out of reach to ever buy a house and own their own home, I mean, that's remarkable when you can help those kind of people.
Yeah, back, I don't know, probably 10, 12 years ago, the joke was loan officers, if you're breathing, you can get qualified. And at that particular time, you could, all they had to do is come up with 3% closing costs. And if they had any money at all, I would loan them the rest and they'd pay me back.
Yeah.
And yeah.
How many people you think you've loaned money to help them get in a house? Not counting your daughter.
Well, I didn't loan money to them. I give it to them. I don't know, maybe more than a dozen.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, used to buy houses without qualifying. If people had $2,000 or $3,000 and they needed $5,000, I would loan them $2,000. They didn't have to qualify, and I just take a loan on the house.
Yeah.
Pay me back, I take the house. But I never had to do it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, Dad, you talked about Disney World being a big memory, and I know that's a huge memory for me growing up. But what are a few other of like your favorite memories or fun times?
Oh, all my favorite memories were with y'all. When I went somewhere new, everybody always enjoyed themselves, and I was just like a kid with y'all.
Yep.
One favorite memory of mine was when we went to Six Flags. I guess we were in Georgia, and we took Bernice with us. Her they was sat on the bench, and Bernice was saying, when a skinny man walked by, she said, "He looks like he's whittled out of wood." And I said, "Bernice, you shouldn't talk so loud." She said, "I'm not talking loud." All in her voice.
She was always talking loud.
Yeah. And when she learned how to drive when she's 80,
Wow.
Dorothy taught her how to drive. And when she went back to Chattanooga, I asked her, I said, "Bernice, what do you do when you get in a tight spot?" She said, "I just close my eyes."
Uh, Dad, I don't know if that's your thumb or something over your camera a little bit. I can only see part of you. Oh, there. Yeah. So, yeah. So that sounds kind of like Jackie driving, doesn't it? And get in a tight spot, just close your eyes, keep going.
Oh, well, you know, when she had that little doodle bug, a Toyota, and her and Walt were married, and I think I give them that car, and she had a wreck on Covenant Pike, and when they got the insurance money, they all went to Florida.
They went where?
Florida.
Oh, that sounds like Mom.
Oh, the car has my car.
Well, she could be a little conniving like her mother.
Well, I think she had a husband's about equal.
Yeah, she didn't have any choice.
Speaking of her husband, he texts me every once in a while and says he's still religious and said he's praying for me. I've met him a few times over at Missy's, and you know, I don't harbor any ill feelings toward him.
Yeah. Well, you know, he was young. Everybody makes mistakes.
Oh yeah, I should never got married. If they'd listened to me, I wouldn't have had Nick.
That's right. Two of your best gifts in life right there.
Yeah. I had lunch with Nick Friday at Brad's.
Oh, your favorite place.
Oh, his. Yeah. But they both turned out to be great. And Missy's a good mama, and Nick's a good person. And
yeah.
They both. David's got a great job, and Nick's got a. Did Dewey tell you that Nick sold his house and bought another one?
Yeah, I was texting with Meg yesterday, and I know they're just a few weeks away from the renovations being complete. So I can't wait to. She sent me a picture of the flooring, and it looks great. I can't wait to see it. I want a video of it. I don't want it just pictures. So I'm gonna have to remind her.
You know, Nick knew I wasn't able to. You know, I sold Nick that house. He knew I wasn't able to take care of that. So he called, which I would, if he'd have called me, I would have told Dewey to do it. And Dewey, he made enough money on the house Nick bought to take care of his 3-week vacation when he took that safari.
Oh, that's so awesome. I'm so glad he did that because I know he's been wanting to.
I said, that's an adventure you'll remember your whole life.
Yeah.
You do it while you're able.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so you talked about being proud of your kids. Anything else in life that you're proud of?
Well, I'm proud of the success I've had and been able to maintain it. And thanks
For decades.
Thanks to Janine, I have turned her dad's money into quite a bit of money.
That's good.
That, you know, money's not everything, but it's something that I have never had. And so I told somebody, I said, it's a nice feeling to wake up in the morning and you don't have to check your bank account to see if you got enough money to write a check.
Yeah.
And I write checks for a girl who used to work for me named Dawn. I don't know if you remember her or not. When we were on Summer Avenue, she was a little bit hippie, but she was a good friend of ours. And she sells real estate in Nashville now, and I just sold her house. And we was talking about Janine. I said, yeah, you're going to do Janine to weed? And she said, yeah, when weed wasn't popular. Working at marijuana. And she dealt with lesbians, and she had license with us. And And she never was in any trouble at all. She called me and said, Earl, I'm ready to sell my house. And I said, well, you got license? She said, yeah, but I want you to sell it. She said, I have people. She put a for sale sign in the yard. And she said, I have people call me all the time, want me to list it out. And I tell them, anybody lists my house is going to be Earl Dillard. And she was good at her word, and we're closing it Tuesday, I think. And, you know, in my wildest dreams, I never thought I would have the life that I'm living now. I can do most anything I want to do.
That's awesome.
It is. It's just a great feeling. October, I'll come see you.
Well, good, because you missed the spring, and now it's hot. Although it didn't get hot here till June, so we've been really lucky. But you have to come back in the fall.
Hopefully, my cardiologist will he's going to examine my pacemaker.
Yeah, he's got to get that working tip-top shape.
Get me some more stamina. When I come to Phoenix, I want to go to Grand Canyon.
Yeah, the fall will be a good time. It won't be too hot or too crowded.
Yeah.
You've been to the Grand Canyon before, haven't you?
Janine and I went, and you got mad at us.
Oh, yeah, because you were supposed to be coming to see me, and you went to the Grand Canyon without me.
Well, I was on vacation.
Well, yeah, I mean, the last time we went, the girls were 2 and 4, so they don't really remember it. We've got pictures of them at that age. Now, Emma we have some friends from Qatar that have moved back to the UK. They're coming in July. We were like, it's hot here, but that's when they're coming. And they want to go up to the Grand Canyon, but I think it's going to be right when I start work. So I don't think I'll get to go, but so we'll go definitely in the fall. That'd be fun.
Okay. Well,
I always had a goal to hike it, but I don't think I'll be ready to hike it in the fall.
I'm going to hike anywhere.
Yeah, we'll just observe from the top, or maybe we'll do a helicopter tour.
Well, we can ride the train.
Yeah, from Williams, that'd be fun.
No, I think they got a train right there. Well, it may be from Williams.
You go to Williams, Arizona, and then you can ride the train over. That'd be fun.
They got a depot right there at the Grand Canyon. Mm-hmm. Must come from Williams.
It does. Yeah, because we've thought about doing that before. Andrew has wanted to do that. We've been to Williams, but we've just not taken the train from there. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So Dad, I think I've asked all the main things that I wanted to ask you about. Is there anything else that you want to share, since your kids and your grandkids will see this? Anything we didn't cover that you want to talk about?
I just want them all to grow up to be good citizens and don't work at a job you don't like. And I love all of y'all.
Oh, well, I appreciate you doing this, because I know you weren't exactly keen on the idea, but I wanted to, go through some memories and things that we could have, that we'll always be able to keep, and hear your thoughts on some, life moments.
I remember, even though Jackie and Missy and Nick were living with us on Trinity, I remember having that, what do you call that jumping thing?
The trampoline?
Trampoline, yeah. I remember us getting on that. We had enjoyment there. And I don't know, right off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that I've missed, but I've had a great life.
Wow. You still got a lot of life in you, that's for sure.
Great life and no regrets.
Wow. That's important.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for going down memory lane with me.
I didn't know he was going to do this. I would have written down my answers.
Well, we can always do part 2, and you can say, oh, I thought of something else I want to add.
Well, I'll wait till I have a lot to add.
I was afraid if I sent you the questions, you wouldn't do it.
You're probably right.
You'd have been like, I don't answer all that. But we can always schedule a part 2, and it can be life lessons.
Don't do this 30 minutes this longer again.
Well, huh?
Talk to you later, and I love you.
Love you, Dad. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.